Hey, Big A, how do you feel about the S&P crossing the big 5-0? 5 racks, bro. All-time highs for the S&P 500. Our 401ks are safe. It is also an all-time high in the level of concentration in the top few stocks. Interesting. 28.6% in like the top seven stocks. Really 6 now. Tesla's out. Magnificent 6. But it is interesting. End of the day, better that it's up than down. And the fact that, you know, over 90% of, actually 95% of all stocks are owned by like the top 8% of people is irrelevant. Okay, it's an economy that's good for all. Is it possible for not Americans to estimate? Yeah, of course. Bro, do you think it's only Americans? I guess why am I being mean? You're asking a simple question. Anyone on Earth can invest in the S&P 500. And in fact, they do. In fact, the fact that America runs a large current account deficit, which means we are hungry consumers who import much more than we export, means that American dollars end up overseas and need to find a safe haven. They have to buy something with that to keep the money going. Usually they would buy government treasuries, but countries are getting scared of that. So they're just dumping their money in the S&P or in real estate. Or a lot of Japanese banks put it in commercial real estate, which is now blowing up. I feel like more Japanese banks are failing off of our bad offices than American banks thus far. Why has China's stock market been so low recently? I would love to make a full video on this and not really give you an ad hoc answer, but the video that I made earlier is the reason. The China's debt crisis, it is their real estate bubble imploding, similar to America in 2008. It is continuing to do, it's the same thing. It is a slow motion, but now gradually then suddenly. It's not 30 days though. It's not, again, the country's status as a country is not in danger, but their stock market is at like, it's like I swear to God, I feel like it's at 1995 levels or something crazy. It's so incredibly low. The Hang Seng is like incredibly low. It's bad and getting worse. Still much more price discovery on these inflated properties. Is there an example of this happening and the country didn't survive? I don't know the answer to your question. It is not comparable. It's all different. China is such a big economy that they also have a very big real estate bubble, but very rarely this would cause the end of a country. This would cause just pain, you know, economic pain, citizens mad. When economies get really bad, I think very rarely in history does the country dissolve. You know, like Soviet Union is the last example where they kind of just like the government imploded. Realistically, there's like change, either through election of a far opposing party or somebody coming to power. Or like that's what could happen, but I think unrealistic. I mean, I think they're just gonna have a bad economy for a while, like a down market, down wages, not hiring, slow growth. Itchruck, I made $5 on Nvidia from a partial stock. Thanks for the Big Mac. I sold and ate the winnings. To make $5 on Nvidia is actually nearly impossible. You must have you bought and sold in the same second. $5. I mean, it's been going up. I guess it's a partial share, right? So percentage, yeah, I guess it doesn't know what your share is. Yeah, I guess that tracks. Like if you've held for a full day, I just find it hard to, man, you only made $5. But did you see, we talked about Nancy Pelosi. She made fucking fat, ungodly stacks. People in Congress owning stocks is bad enough, but them playing degenerate options trades, buying like, you know, out of the money calls on Nvidia and mooning overnight to make fucking 1.2 million in a few weeks is crazy. It's like, it's actually degenerate. It's Wall Street Bets-esque, but for senators. Job outlook, cybersecurity. Tech is not a great field. Cybersecurity is a great field. Cybersecurity specifically, great and growing field. Tech is more broad. Again, I can't guarantee you a job, bro. I don't know you. I'm just saying, if you look at it, cybersecurity, growing. The risks posed to big corporations with all its data is higher than ever. It's ever more important that they have people on that team. Yeah, I mean, just demand is rising every year for cybersecurity, so it's better. And it makes good money, and generally it's one of those jobs, layman's perspective, but I have 2 friends that work in cybersecurity. It's one of those jobs where, you know, nobody knows what the fuck you do. It's one of those jobs where you have kind of easy work-life balance and hours generally. Again, crises happen and then it takes over your life. Like, for example, at Twitch, whenever, was this even public? There was a huge hack at Twitch and they had access to like all the internal networks of the company. And they had to like replace every employee's laptop, every single employee's laptop. Yeah, the source code got leaked. Yeah, it was crazy. They called it, what did they call it? Not Pizzagate. It was called like Pizza Party or something because everyone of the cybersecurity team and a lot of the engineers had to live at the office for like 2-3 weeks and they ate pizza all the time. So they called it Pizza Party. Something like, it was like for a long time, or like the, I don't know, the pizza thing. So they were dead by the end of that. They were exhausted. So I'm assuming that's what it's like. But in general, I think day to day, nobody knows what the fuck you do, and you can kind of just have a good time. Browse Reddit or some shit. Somebody asked a fucking question about, I can't find it, but I'm going to tell you that I remember it. Here's what they asked. It was about gambling commercials. What do they feel about the prevalence of gambling commercials? Here's what I want to tell you about gambling commercials, bro. I was at the barber today getting my haircut, and we were talking about the same thing. We were talking about the Super Bowl, talking about gambling, talking about DraftKings. And over the course of the conversation, I realized that the guy I was complaining about gambling to was a huge fucking gambling addict. I found out that my barber, who I was like, bro, yeah, I honestly, unironically, man, like I gamble all the time, but like I'm starting to think this whole DraftKings and like gambling on your phone and 24/7 ads about it is like bad for people. And he was like, well, not if you play the parlays right. And like, I would laugh at that if it was a joke, but he wasn't saying it as a joke. Like every time I was like trying to steer the conversation, I was like, yeah, bro. I was like, look, again, I'm not against gambling. I'm no fucking narc here. I'm just saying, like, do we really think that like every fucking 18 to 24-year-old dude in America should be gambling with all of their income? And he's like, well, a lot of them don't know how to play it. He's like, they think the house always wins, but I was like, bro, well, no. Well, no, that's not entirely true, but you are cutting my hair, so I'm gonna go ahead and, you know what? You're right. Yeah, you're right. Betting on games is so fun. Even if I lose, I see it as buying a ticket to enjoy it more. Again, fine, right? What I think is like, I thought sports books in Vegas, fine. You know, you go to the track, it's part of the experience. I just think when people are sitting alone, watching the game alone, fucking DraftKings on their phone, degenerate betting to try and get out of a hole, we're in a problem. And it's not even like my opinion, bro. This is a fact. Like the rise of people calling gambling helplines skyrocketed in the past year. Skyrocketed. The money that casinos and DraftKings making skyrocketed last year. So where's that money come from? It comes from the clients. You'll never know the rush of watching Ukrainian women's tennis at 4 a.m. All right, bro. Facts, dude, facts. I do remember I was on like a work trip for Nvidia. We were all in Vegas. I think it was for CES or something. And we all went out to gamble together. And we ended up betting on the most, I think it was like, it's going to sound crazy, but I feel like it was like Middle Eastern horse races. Because it was like 3 a.m. and there was like the only horse races you could watch on the screen. We were betting on some weird shit. And I lost a lot of money that night. Australia, gambling, and America. What is your view on that? America's importing Australia's sports betting culture. I do know that Australia is ahead of the game on being degenerate gamblers. You guys got the pokies, which is just like slot machines in every fucking building and that many people lose their lives on. And I guess you're ahead on sports betting, but I don't think we're importing Australia, bro. Just to be honest. I just think that big leagues in America finally realized they can make money off of it. At first, for the longest time, they thought it was something that would lose them money by hurting the integrity of their game or scaring away sponsors. But then they realized that the gambling companies could be the sponsors, and so it took over. I thought it was because it was legalized. Do you think it just randomly was legalized? Or do you think perhaps it was an extremely coordinated, calculated, state-by-state campaign by the gambling companies that put a ton of money, time, and lobbying effort to get it overturned in like 38 out of 50 states within 2 years? Or it was just like one day everyone's like, you know what?